It's safe to say that this year was very eventful. I have been seeing a couple of things online about people saying some controversial things like this year's Artfight was just not good or not fun or I don't know, something along those lines. I don't know what it was, but this year for me, I had a fucking blast. This year was amazing for me. I got through a lot of hurdles and a lot of hardships and stuff like that, and I learned new workflows and really started getting into the groove of things. So, without further ado, I wanted to look at a couple of the models that I made, starting with my first attack. So this is the first attack I decided to do. It's fairly bare bones when it comes to it. Not a whole lot of detail, I'll be honest. For instance, the hair tassels and everything isn't exactly rigged. It's all just, stuck to the head. But I figured it's 3 characters, so it's probably going to be enough. Also, while doing this one, I might have dinked up a little bit. So, while I was doing this, I didn't know how to do a mass attack. I didn't know how to label it properly. So while making this attack of 3 characters, I only had a character count of 1. Honest mistake. I'll be honest, it's not that big of a deal to me. Points don't really matter. I think Artfight is more for the love of the game than the love of winning or anything like that. But I think I did a good job overall with these characters. They don't actually have rigs, facial rigs or anything like that. It's actually just shape keys. So their brows and their eyes, and that's it. There's no mouth. Everything's pretty stagnant there. As for the textures and everything, the textures for a lot of characters rely very heavily on just whole colors. Everything within all of my designs and everything involved just kind of taking shortcuts by using whole colors and stuff like that. The things that I didn't use full colors for were the face, of course, applying all of these extra little details and whatnot. This one as well, same thing. The textures very heavily relied on just the color swatch. It was fairly straightforward for all of them, but this is the first art attack and coming after a long year-long hiatus. I think I did a pretty good job, all things considered. I'm happy that Leah is Strange, the person I did the art attack for, seemed to really like it. So, thanks for the characters. They were really cool. They were a lot of fun to make. Next on the list is Jubilee. Jubilee was a lot of fun. I wanted to make her more realistic, and I feel as though I might have, overextended myself a little bit. The paints and everything I did all in Blender, and I think this is my first time really getting into a paint or anything like that in Blender. Normally I would make it in Krita and then move it over to Blender, but it's kind of rough. It's kind of weird, and it looks very splotchy and rubbery, and a lot of the other details and stuff around the body are very loosely made. For instance, the belt and tassels and everything are very simplistic. The character also had a lot of extra little designs and trinkets on her, but I kind of just half-assed it and made only a couple things. The things I wanted to focus on the most was her face, and I think overall I did a little weird. Overall, I did a really good job with the typography and making the character very pretty. She's very pretty. The thing I struggled on the most with this character was making her hair. I'll be honest, I'm not very satisfied with how I made her hair. Hair is kind of a kryptonite for me. I don't know why. it should be easy, but for some reason hair tends to get very complicated. But oh, I think I did okay. The animation itself took me maybe an hour or two. I thought it'd be fun to have the character pick up the camera. It's a little weird to see out of shot, but she's very well articulate. The rig itself, I'll be honest, I had the most fun with. I like rigging characters and everything like that. This character also had very simple rigs. There's not a whole lot to it. I really didn't do all too much because I didn't plan for her to have anything more than just one or two faces. So it was very quick, very easy. Now this one I decided to go a little above and beyond for. This character I went a little fucking crazy with. I'm really satisfied with how this turned out, genuinely. This is Elena, which is an Ina OC for Delta Abyss, or Delta Abyss? I don't know, I think it's Delta Abyss. This character, I'll be honest, kind of intrigued me a lot, mostly just because of the Ina OC, but the character design as well being asymmetrical. It's kind of harder to do sometimes in Blender because I want everything to be symmetrical because it's easier to rig as well as to model, you know, the mirror modifier. So I wanted to challenge myself with this character, and truth be told, I think I did a really good job. While making the animation, I thought it'd be fun to showcase the fact that the head can turn and it's completely dislocated and everything. Not only that, I noticed a thing from all of my models before. I don't have a stage. And while making this, I decided to give it a little bit more of a showcase, a colored background, as well as a faux silhouette lining in the background. And I'll be honest, I think it's my favorite one I made just because of the presentation alone. And it's gotten to a point where I think I should actually start presenting my artwork to be more aesthetic to the eye, more than just a showcase of the character. I've noticed this is a thing for a lot of 3D artists, is to kind of feature their character in a void or just doing a simple turnaround. Also, if you notice, she has hair wiggles. A little bit of hair physics. It's very, very subtle. You can barely notice it, but it's there. Not only this, I kind of decided to take some changes of the character that I thought were kind of alright or justified. For one, I can show this off. I'm kind of proud of this. For one, her boots are different. Her right boot is smooth. Her left boot is angular, just like in Ina OC. The difference is with this, and I'll show you the UVs real quick. This is the UV map I chose. So what I did was I had spots where you can essentially take it and move it up and down. See, so it's hard to showcase here, and I'm a little unprofessional about showing off my work, but see how there's a bit of a gradient here? This is because down here it's a darker gradient, but up here is lighter. So if I were to move it up here, oop, there we go. Now the gradient is much lighter. You can actually tell and see a big difference. And I did that to make a very artificial polygonal look to it. I did the same thing with the arm. The arm is the same thing. I kind of had different spots for the shading and everything like that to make it look polygonal. But yeah, no textures whatsoever. I just use gradients and stuff like that, which is what a lot of low poly artists tend to do. Not only this, I saw that in the original, Ina has a little bit of noise. And if you could see that right here, maybe not, there's a little bit of noise on the texture, and I decided to do that in the shading tab. Here, I just added a little Voronoi texture and just mix it together with the actual texture. Just a very small smidgen amount that adds that little noise that feels like an actual Ina character. I think I'll be honest, I could probably make more Ina OCs, like a regular amount of them, as like a commission or something like that. Because this looks borderline professional. This looks like it could be out of a game or something like that. Another detail I decided to add with this character, sorry I'm staying so long on her, some of the leeway I decided to take is that her, I can show it better here. Her earrings and piercings like that, on her polygonal side or more angular side are square, right? And then on the other side, they're actually just round. It's still low poly, so you can barely tell that it's still like angular, but it's very round. But yeah, this is the character. Really proud of her. I think I did a really good job, all things considered. I made this character in just 2 days. Seriously, I in one sitting, I made this whole character model, and then in the second sitting, I rigged her and animated her. This took me 2 days. I've never made a Sonic OC before, so I decided to work with something that I could. I actually went to the models resource for this one, and under Sonic OCs, I just grabbed myself a Sonic model, and you can kind of tell just a little bit that this used to be Sonic, but I made due in part to do everything I can to make sure that nothing of Sonic remained in this character. So, you know, changing the body type, changing the hands. I mean, you can't even tell that I used, I didn't use this specific model. I used a different one. But you can't even tell that I used Sonic as a base to make this character mesh. I'll be honest, looks the most polished and the most like put together out of all of them. This character I really started honing in and focusing more on the details and the finer little things, while also incorporating a lot of the shortcuts that a lot of low poly artists use. For instance, here's a shortcut that I can show you real quick. As you can tell, I did use gradients just like the Ina OC, but this one I changed things up a decent bit. The tag was the original one from the reference, and blushes and stuff like that are just painted on and then overlapped with the invisibility layer. This one I was going to do something, but ended up not using it, so it's fine. The holes in the pants are actually just 3 textured things that I kind of just layered out randomly and twisted and turned around. So it's actually just a spot on the UV map, and you can twist and turn and make it look alright. Really proud of that. Very keen shortcut. Her belly as well is actually just a couple of lines and vertices. I know that this makes an Engon, but I'll be honest, I'm not shading this character or putting him in the game or anything like that, so Engons to me are kind of just whatever. I don't really care that much. I made this character look very much so cartoonish while still keeping the design that a Sonic character has. The ears, there we go. The ears I did not connect to the body, it's actually just hidden within the hair. The horns and the hair and everything like that, I decided to actually work really closely off the reference to make the hair. And even though I struggle with hair, I am quite proud of this one. It turned out pretty alright for the most part, especially back. This is a cute little detail that I decided to add. It is, well, it's kind of a heart. Kind of. This character as well also has hair physics and a little bit of jiggle, but not a whole lot. It's just her bangs. This character also doesn't move her feet that much, and I can show you why real quick. her her foot buckles aren't entirely rigged right. They kind of are a little weird, and I couldn't figure out how to properly rig them without them kind of intersecting in and out the boot. So I kind of just had this character sit stationary. But yeah, fun fact about this OC as well. This person's OC is someone that I went to school with. It was literally just random chance. So, you know, hello if you're watching this. All right, here's the next one. The big one, I will say. I did make all of these characters individually first, and each one of them I had to really time crunch on. So I'll just show you one character real quick. Using my previous techniques, I got the UVs, and I'll show you real quick. As you could tell, the last thing I was working on was the details. But yeah, this is the UV map. This is it. That's all. It's just a jumble and a mess. I know it looks like a complete disarray of mess. It's because I was working very quickly and I kind of just shove things where they are. So I take something, and this is how I do it. I press U, project from view, and then I bring it here, and then I squish it to 0, and then boom. That's the texture. That's it. That's all I do. That's how I work with a lot of these models. There's no real texturing of the pants. There's no shading, I mean, of the pants. But I move it ever so slightly so you can tell. I'll zoom in for you. You can tell a little bit of a difference. So then here you can see just a tiny bit of fake ambient occlusion, which is great for creases and clothing and stuff like that. Especially her hood. I think I did a good job with her hood. This also means that the face is gonna lose a lot of detail, so I decided to add extra topology to give her face artificial, I don't know, the arcane-like shading I did right here. And this was all done without making textures. This was done simply just by moving around UV maps. Overall, I'm quite proud of how this character turned out, although I do wish that I added jiggle physics to her chain and more changes to her eyes and everything. There are very, very tiny little shape keys. There's a smirk, her eyes blinking, and the brows moving. That's literally it. I didn't add anything else. I only planned for maybe 2 different faces, so there's no expression. As for how the eyes are always looking at you, they're just flat planes within the eye that's kind of sunken in. And this is how I sort of cheat and get my way through and get away with not rigging the eyes nearly as much. With my more professional models and stuff like that, of course, I rig the eyes and I give the character a full face rig and texture. But for what I was doing, and you're about to see, for what I was doing, I had to take a bunch of shortcuts. Like, seriously. A lot of shortcuts were needed to make things work. But overall, I think this character was really well done. One of my favorite aspects, you can't even see, by the way, is her belly. I did very subliminal shading to make it look muscular, and then I gave her hip dips right here. And I'll be honest, looks great. So, on to my final Artfight project. The reason why I had to pull so many shortcuts. So, this you might actually see a long time ago. I made a animation for my senior thesis project, so I decided to reuse the setting entirely. This is actually just the setting of an old project of mine that I decided to reuse for this whole scene. It saved me a hell of a lot of time to make all of this over again, but because it was reusing old assets and stuff like that, here, let me show you. There's a lot of things wrong with it. For instance, everything is a 2D plane or shaped around. So if we were to ever get behind here, you'd see very quickly just the things that are wrong with it. But for the most part, throughout the entire animation, you can't really tell whatsoever. I decided to make things very dark and very high contrast, and I gave it a dithering effect. While putting this on YouTube, I started to realize that the dithering effect actually kind of crunches up the colors because of how YouTube compresses everything. So it looks unnecessarily crunchy on YouTube, which kind of disappoints me a little bit because the video itself looks great. But let me show you another thing. While making this character and making all of the animations in this, I wanted to make things relatively simplistic. So while getting into animating, this is it, by the way. I don't use graphs. I should, and I should learn how to use graphs a lot more, but animating actually isn't my strong suit. It's making models and making rigs. That's my strong suit. Animating itself, I'm okay. But I animated everything on 2s, and I made sure everything was 24 FPS. The render itself is 24 FPS, so rendering on 2s makes things look chunky and blocky. That's just my personal taste, my personal style, to make everything chunky. As for animating some of the other scenes, I did animate on 1s by doing some simple splining instead of a constant on 2s. And this gave a lot of things very much so a smoother look, but I only did it for a certain couple of things. Like here especially, we're about to see one of my favorite scenes. This scene, or this shot I should say, was all blended. It was not on 2s, so it looks extra smooth. Another thing about this shot, it's very much so forced perspective, as you can very well tell. She's not even touching the ground, Your Honor, and it's very fucking weird, but that's the wonders of animation. There were a lot of things that I wish I would have changed if given more time, but truth be told, I am really, really proud of this, and I don't think I'm going to touch it anymore because it was a lot of time, a lot of effort, and very hard to work under a time crunch. But the hair here, I tried giving jiggle physics, but it ended up being very weird and very wonky. So this character's hair is actually just fully rigged and animated by hand. So for instance, this shot, her hair does the wiggle, and that's hand animated. I animated that myself. This shot, I'm also really happy about, doing a full turn. She does a full turn and her hair follows through. And I was very low-key proud of that. This as well is a very cool shot for me. I could have given it a little bit more ease, but it was a very, very fun, very cool shot. This as well, very cool. Honestly, I just made a bunch of cool shots that I think I'm very proud of, but pacing-wise, it kind of dampened a little bit. I didn't storyboard any of this, by the way. I didn't storyboard or map out. I didn't even use animation references. You know, when you record yourself doing something, I didn't even do that. I just did all of this straight from the hip, kind of animating and playing it out as I went. Yeah, this animation was the result of it. And if you haven't seen it, go see it. I'm kind of proud of it. Turned out really good. Really happy with it. And here is the Family Guy pose. Another thing while making this as well, I decided to have a couple of animation homages that I think went unnoticed for most people, but more so just for myself. For instance, here's this one. This is supposed to be a reference to the Akira slide, but I did it at an angle instead of doing it straight on, because for some reason it looked weird when I tried doing it like this in 3D versus doing it like this to the angle or to the side. So it's not entirely an Akira slide, but it's, you know, reminiscent of it right here. You can't really see it hardly at all because of the effects or anything, but it's the Yamcha pose. And I thought it was really funny, and it's only there for literally like a couple of frames. But yeah, it's more fun for myself than it is a thing that you can actually see. But yeah. Oh, and if you're wondering how I did these animations, I have a little bit of a library of things from my previous project. I can show, there we go. These are GIFs that I found online that were free use that I could use, and I put it into an asset library. So a lot of the effects that you see are actually just effects, like flat planes, and I hide them underneath the map. Yep, this is all of them underneath the map. Another thing too, if you didn't notice, I make my own aspect ratio black bars, and these I use to especially encapsulate a scene like this, where it closes down, so I can do it in the animation rather than post-production animation. It also makes it so I can do some very cool shots. But yeah, those were my art fights this year. Those were all my attacks. And admittedly, I didn't get 10 attacks done. I did get 10 characters done, so I did hit my goal, kind of. But yeah, I was really blown away by the art attacks that I got this year as well. I'll show you them real quick. I just wanted to show off my stuff real quick, get that out of the way. So here are the attacks that I got this year. This one was from Spiky. This is a very quick design of Vitriol, my OC, and it's really cool. I saved it. By the way, all of the projects, or all of the artworks of my characters and stuff like that, I save on my computer. I do plan on opening the virtual bar eventually. I'm not very good at 3D scene design or anything. I'm purely like making a character model and making the character rig. That's kind of my one-trick pony. But when working in art and Blender, you kind of have to be a jack of all trades. So I'm getting more into 3D scene design and stuff like that. So once I get the virtual bar done, I wanted to get all of these different artworks and fan arts of mine, just like a poster on the wall or something. Just a fun little homage to everyone who submits fan art. And it will be permanent additions to the virtual bar. So as time goes on with the bar, I'd like it to be more personalized as time goes on. Something that is reminiscent of that is a YouTuber. This is a very quick little shout out. If you notice with Anthony Gallego, he actually has a stock image background. That was his first video. This is what I kind of wanted to do. I wanted to have a somewhat plain background and add on to it over the year. His background gets a lot more complicated. And as you can tell, it's the same background and everything like that, except it's been edited and changed. Like the couch is 3D, so it's really fun to see him work with Blender and stuff like that too. Anyway, side tangent aside, that was my first art attack. My second art attack, this one I really loved, and I kind of really want to print this out and cut it out and actually like laminate it or something, or put it on a keychain. I don't know. This one is really cute, and I really love this design. I of course responded with a mass attack of 3 characters. That was by Leah Strange. This one was a 3D model of Vitriol again. I mean, I can tell it's a more beginner of Blender and stuff like that because this is animated in cycles. I assume it's cycles because it's very realism looking while still having a lot of cartoonish look to it, but it's a sculpt of my character. I really liked it. It was really cool. I know they were still a beginner, so it was kind of a huge honor for me to see someone who is a beginner make my character, because that only means that like as time goes on, I get to see how they progress as an artist. And truth be told, I was looking at more of their art and I was really impressed with some of the stuff that they were doing and some of the stuff that they were making, because seriously, within like a couple of art projects, they made some fucking crazy shit and I was really blown away by it. But yeah, it's really cool to see a lot of the progress of some of the artists that attacked me and stuff like that. Next art attack was a revenge, actually. I attacked this person first, Flower Tots. This character I found completely random. That's what I like to do with most of my characters. I just hit random until I see something I really like, to try to avoid the most popular people or like YouTubers or something like that. People that are like super big and super popular. I kind of try to avoid super popular people. I don't know why. But this was Jubilee. And I did the design on the farthest right. I should have done something more simple, like maybe the middle design or even a Realm Reborn. Oh, as you can tell, there are a lot of details on the one on the right. There's tassels, there's stitching, there's a bunch of stuff that I just simply did not do because it was a lot of detail and I was working on a time crunch and I put more than a weekend's worth into it when each character I should only put a weekend worth, which is like 3 or 4 days. So I put in a lot of effort and I probably shouldn't have, and I probably should have worked on one of these. Anyway, this was Jubilee by Flower Tots. I fucking love this character. She's so cool and she's so pretty and oh my god, yes. So when I got an art attack, a revenge from Flower Tots, I freaked the fuck out because this was fucking crazy. I want to print this out and plaster it on my wall. But yeah, I saved this and it's definitely going somewhere. I don't know where, but it's going somewhere. Huge thanks to Flower Tots. This was crazy. It was really, really well done. Really well rendered too. Like, damn, this is polished. This as well was where I started to realize, wow, I shouldn't make my models in the blank void of space, and I should incorporate something in the background. So while looking at the rest of Flower Tots' art attacks, I noticed the thing that she was doing consistently. Each character had a background. It was very, very simplistic and honestly borderline unnecessary with some of the extra things, but very, very much so like super good, super appreciated for definitely a lot of the aesthetic. And that's something that I needed to work on. And that's what led me to make the Ina OC, if you remember. That's how I made that background. And I started incorporating a very simplistic design or simplistic background. And then this was the last attack. This was for Sir Mochi, the one I did the Sonic OC for. This one was for my friend's OC, Jelly. And if you don't know Jelly, she streams on Twitch occasionally. Let me show you a clip real quick. That could have been bad, huh?
Yeah, it could have been.
He's so mad at me.
Oh.
So yeah, that's Jelly. She streams on Twitch occasionally. She does a lot of Splatoon. She does a lot of Vocaloid. She does a lot of stuff like that. She's very cool, but this is her OC that I translated into 3D and I just kind of borrow and use for Artfight. And so she gets a little bit of designs and stuff here too. And so I taken this and I saved it as well, and she loved it and I loved it, and it was good all around. So the rest of Suramochi, I started looking into their designs as well. This was the character that I made the revenge for, Clementine. I loved Clementine. She was great. She was really cool. The thing is, I decided to spend more time polishing the model, and I ran out of time to make the animation. Again, I only wanted to spend 3 days at most on a character because I was working on a time crunch, as Artfight is. So I needed more time to make an animation. Don't tell them this unless they watch this and find out. I actually was going to put Shadow in here, and I was tempted to take a low poly Shadow model and kind of have him running in place, or like doing a running animation with Clementine in his arms, kind of like this. And I thought that would be really cute and really fun. But I ran out of time, and these models are not rigged, which means I would have to make 2 rigs for both of the characters, and I just didn't have time, unfortunately. I wanted to make more. I didn't have time. It's unfortunate, but I still think I did a pretty decent job. But yeah, I'm looking forward to next year. I really, really am. I love Artfight. It really gets me into the mood of making art and stuff like that. Speaking of being in the mood, I made another art attack, but this ended up not being an attack because, well, I kind of ran out of time. Here's a character that I literally just made. I'm very proud of them. This is Shade, Queer Encounters OC, and I saw this just randomly on TikTok, and I really loved the character design, so I decided to make this character. And I was still in the mood of Artfight, so this wasn't a charged commission at all. This was free. I just did it literally just expressing my free will. I don't know why, but I just did it, and I thought it was really cool. And another thing too, while making this model, I gave her hair physics. So yeah, the hair collides with her arms, but as you can tell, it doesn't really do it that well. It's a little finicky, and truth be told, if I spent more time on it, I probably could do it better, but it's fine. There's only so much I'd like to do for free. But yeah, this is the character. This is how it turned out. I also learned a lot of things about compositing. It's here where I learned that you can add 2D rimming, which is the white outline that you can see here. And so I added that, as well as normal lining, doing inverse hole, or using the solidifier modifier just inside out, as well as the rim light from the compositing. I think ultimately this character is probably one of the more complicated models I've made, especially hopping straight out of Artfight. This character ended up being a lot of fun, and I only took a weekend to make it, so I think I'm genuinely just getting good at this. But yeah, that's it. That was my Artfight video. The next video is coming real soon, like actually real soon. I've been working on it for a little bit, but it's just it's gonna be a different change of pace. It's not gonna be art focused. It's just using art as a medium to essentially just show off the shit that I want to show off. But yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you liked it. Artfight was really, really fun this year. I don't know why everyone was complaining about Artfight this year. Personally, I didn't see it, but That's just me. Our fight was a lot of fun for me, and I can't wait for next year. Okay, goodbye.